what I think is the bigger story for me.
Oh, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is officially being remade. Now, there was a Bethesda presentation that was on earlier today. Andrew and I just watched it before we started recording, and what it did is finally cement the rumors that Oblivion was going to have a remastered. Now, it's about 19-20 minutes long. If you guys want to watch it, I'll leave the link in the description. But the original Elder Scroll game came back out in 2006. Man, I was a senior in high school when this game came out, and a lot of people.
I think I was like a sophomore, maybe.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of people. I mean, Skyrim is. I mean, if you're playing it, the better game mechanically wise. But there's a lot of people that think Oblivion's still the best Elder Scrolls game. Yeah, better. And they were waiting. A lot of people have been waiting, and now at this point, 20 plus years for it to come out. And when you watch if you're not watching just the trailer and you're watching the full Bethesda behind the scenes, it's got a lot of people talking about what it took to get here, what they've been waiting on, and they kind of point out that they've been wanting to do it forever. They wanted to do it right, and to them, it was finding the perfect partner, which they ended with Virtuous Studios.
Virtuous Studios, which they're crazy busy because they've been doing a lot, but they also have Metal Gear Solid Delta, the Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater remake, also coming out this year through Konami. So if this studio's got their hands and stuff like that, and from what I've seen online already, I've seen people saying like stuff like this is amazing and it's really good. That this something that I wasn't unsure of Metal Gear, but I'm a huge fan that I'm gonna play it anyways. Gives me just nice big sigh of relief. I'm like, dude, I'm so excited.
Nice,
because when they did the little interview with them, like Craig said, go watch it. I don't think it's very long. It was like what
19 change.
One of the first things I said is like, it doesn't still feel like Oblivion. It has to be a love letter to what the game was, not just what we think it should be. And man.
Yeah, so since we just watched it, I didn't do any copious amounts of notes at all. So I did just pull up something from Push Square that kind of just goes over everything that was highlighted, and kind of we can go over what's changing, what's remastered about it, what they're keeping the same. So I'll do my best to remember to put this link in the description as well if you want to take a look at that. So starting out first is all like the graphics and everything they did. So what they're doing is a total graphical overhaul, which is built on Unreal Engine 5. There's new character models, new enemy models, new environmental assets, new equipment models, and new dynamic lighting system, which doesn't sound too fantastic on paper, but when you see the side-by-sides of what they've done with the lighting and shadows, and now that it's running in Unreal Engine 5, it is beyond beautiful. It's so good. We knew it was going to have a big uptick on what the graphics were going to look like, but Andrew, I think we were saying off camera, like, this is more like a remake, man.
I think, I had seen some leaked screens because they accidentally put it up to Steam for a little bit and then I think took it back down, but people took screenshots. So I'd seen this last week, not a trailer or anything, but a couple shots, and I'm like, man, when you first come out and you play Oblivion, it's bright, super bright, crazy over-the-top green. And then when I saw some of the screens, I'm like, oh, this looks like a little bit dull. I'm a little bit worried now that maybe they kind of graded up almost like what they do with Skyrim. But then when you see this, they're like, oh, we have the different times of day to show the different effects with everything. It is beautiful.
Yeah, I couldn't stop looking at it, man. There was a couple times we were watching it. I just had to rewind it. I'm like, man, because they'll do a thing where like the bar will slide by and it'll kind of show old and new, and then they'll do the whole thing. I rewound it like twice. I'm like, dude, this is amazing.
The one that got me is when they have a chick standing there, and I couldn't remember what it was, especially after playing Skyrim. I'm like, oh, like maybe it's like a character or something different from the DLC or whatever. And then when it cut over to her standing there, I'm like, oh, it's a Spriggan, the like forest enemy. I'm like, oh, damn, that's way cool. Because before she does almost kind of, I'd spent so long since I played it, look maybe more like an NPC or something that you could talk to, like a sprite or something, versus when they redo, I'm like, okay, no, that's totally an enemy.
Yeah, so the fact that they're redoing all these characters, I mean, he's fighting the Minotaur, it looks sick, you're seeing the skeletons, it looks awesome.
The rain.
Yeah, everything was great. So as far as the graphically, we all knew that was going to be obviously much better. It's going to be 20 years later, it's going to look better, but a big curiosity was going to be the gameplay. You know, what did they change, what's new, what's different? So as far as what they've changed, gameplay-related changes in Oblivion Remastered are, there's completely new movement animations, improved third-person camera. you can now sprint, which I forgot was that wasn't a thing. I thought maybe sprint just had an endurance lock behind it. You couldn't sprint in Oblivion? Has it been that long? Just my eyes deceive me?
I was like, I don't think so, because I think I remember having to like level up acrobatics, so that way when you wore your heavy armor and stuff like that, you could jump. So I remember it didn't hit me until he said that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I used to jump everywhere because it was faster than running and walking.
And then they added new combat animations, new on-hit animations to give combat more impact, and improved aiming with bows. So yeah, what they've kind of pointed out is that, because a lot of people, or at least the default way to play it should be in first person, but they've always added the third person mechanic. It just never moved quite as good. What they've said is now it's just as good as playing in first person, which is really cool. And as far as with the bows go, one of the things I liked is I didn't know there wasn't a reticle in third person. They've added that now. So for anybody that's interested in playing in third person, and I know a lot of people do, they're saying now it's just as good as playing in first. That's one of the highlights I took out of it. What was for you?
Yeah, especially too, and it's not too intrusive either. I hate having like a big thing or something like that. It's just a small little like white dot, and I'm like,
headshots.
Perfect. That's all I need.
And then as far as combat goes too, I mean, instead of just doing a swing and a swing, there's now a whole new movements and stuff like that. So your character is going to feel a lot more alive. Anything else from the gameplay that stood out for you? Was that everything that you needed?
I don't know if it'll be on this list, but the other thing gameplay-wise, and arguably the biggest problem with the game that hopefully they've addressed, and it seems like they have, is they said that they've taken the leveling now, and it's a mixture between what happened with Skyrim and something with Oblivion, whereas the original one was just level scaling, and that was the biggest problem because you're then penalized for like leveling up. So now even on an easier difficulty, you're just fighting these like monster behemoth dudes because you're just leveled up, that a lot of people just chose to beat the game, especially if you see people play it today, because people still stream that game. They keep it at like a low level run.
Yeah, because character progression is another thing that they've changed. So the leveling system.
Sorry, I didn't see that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. As well as the character creator with completely new models. So I am interested in how the new races are going to be Argonians, the Red Guards, and all things like that. But the leveling system, like Andrew was saying, is like, yeah, how is that going to change with the gameplay? Because there were certain... I remember, is it Oblivion? You could be on that... There's a spot in that dungeon in the beginning that had like a little hill to the roof. You could just keep jumping and it would skyrocket your athletics and stuff. So they didn't really dive too far into what's going to be changed, but they said it's going to be a slight mix between Oblivion and Skyrim. So I do like that, and I'm really interested to see how that's going to work.
I did like, too, that they obviously had Todd Howard on there. He said it's still going to keep its charm, which is just code for like their jank and some of the things that people have grown to love, whether it be like talking, gameplay mechanics, and stuff like that. Stuff that makes sense and is fun, but not bad to the game, it seems like.
Yeah, so that all sounded great. And then what did I skip this part? Oh, then the audio that they've changed. It's going to have new voice work across the game in addition to a lot of the old voice work, and then a remastered soundtrack. So obviously they were playing music throughout the trailers and things like that. It all sounded great. As far as some of the voice work went, I forgot that there wasn't certain things said in combat and things like that. So, and I guess one of the things they pointed out too is that they're trying to make each race sound distinct from each other. So they're going to give a lot of NPCs new things to say, and when you hear an elf versus an imperial or versus a Nord, like, you're going to hear the difference in these races because so much more has been added to it, which can only get, I mean, that's fantastic stuff.
And I think maybe that's one of those things with Roasted and Glasses. When they said that, I'm like, wasn't it like that before? That's how I remember, but I guess that's just me remembering wrong in my head. But
or conflicting it with Skyrim, because Skyrim's like that.
But I think what I do love too most about the audio is after they said, we carefully crafted each character to their traits and their race, is that they've put that into their whole like lip syncing thing.
Yeah.
So when they're talking, like especially in Argonian, it doesn't just look like a human, whatever. Like it's shaped to like their mandible, their snout, the way that it moves and stuff like that. Looked really good.
Yeah, I think what they were saying is that once they redid the models, they're all on a based frame model, so all the lips are all in the same spot, and they built on top of that and around that. So now all the lip syncing is proper because they're all based on the same kind of character model that exits out of the same spot. So I thought that was great. Now, additionally, they added some other things. The user interface, new overhauled menus, new user interface and gameplay. Now, they didn't really show too much of that. Quick snippets of like what the menus will look like. We'll see more of that when we get a chance to play it. And then some other things they added was new accessibility features, additional autosaves, and full trophy support on the PS5, which I guess the original Oblivion on PS3 didn't happen. But there was one other thing, Andrew, that was the most important of all. And what was that?
That it is out now.
Today!
Which was insane for a shadow
in the
drop.
membrane.
I know that was part of the rumor with those leaks from last week saying that it's supposed to drop this week. People thought it was going to be Monday. And then once they had this event up, I was like, oh man, that sucks because it's probably just going to be an event. They're going to talk about it and it's not going to come out. But then as of, I think like last night, the file size came up and it's like the only way that would come up for somebody is if it's on the store. So it's insanely exciting. I am a little disappointed that it is dropping today just because I only play one story game at a time. I do not like jumping from place to place. In 2 days, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 comes out, and that's something I'm extremely excited for. So now I have to pick something, but I'm off today. So am I going to wait 2 days to play something, or am I going to jump into this and knock this out? I don't know what I'm going to do yet. And I do want to throw out there, too, because I've seen a lot of people like, oh, well, Microsoft really screwed these guys, blah, blah, blah. One, they're, I think it's like Sandfall Studios who does Claire Obscure. They are not a Microsoft-owned studio. That game's also coming out on PlayStation and other places as well, too. And
so is Oblivion.
Yeah, and they're already paid for that game because that game is going to be on Game Pass. So they're already paid for their work and whatever it is they're doing to Xbox. They probably are going to lose some sales, but that's not Microsoft's fault because I don't think that they judge, or they can tell Bethesda like, oh, well, you should do this, this, and this for these queue schedules because we have these sort of deals going on.
Yeah.
So either way, I do feel bad for them. The game is launching at $49.99, which seems like an amazing price point, free on the Game Pass if you have that. Game Pass Ultimate. It is not on Game Pass. It is Game Pass Ultimate, and then I think it's $59.99 for a deluxe edition that I think comes with the classic horse armor and like a few other things on there as well too.
Oh yeah, and to mention all the DLCs is for free. So they added on Shivering Isle and all that stuff.
As they should.
Yeah, so all that stuff is fully intact. And when I looked at it, I didn't see the XS symbol. So as far as I can tell, I believe it can still play on the 1X, the 1S, and then the Series X and the Series S as well. So this thing, there's no excuse not to play it, Collins.
And it's cloud gaming. And I do want to note the hype behind this a little bit too, since we're kind of closing on it, is that when I went to go watch the stream this morning, actually as of last night, there was over 6,000 people just already waiting.
Over 6,000?
Waiting in the queue. And even this morning, before it started, because I got there a few minutes early, the queue was still up there, just people waiting to watch this thing. And I'm sure it's more now, but as of 2 hours ago, or as of 2 hours after it had released, there was already over 100,000 people playing this on Steam.
Nice, yeah. Andrew, after we saw that, I went and mine's downloaded, mine's ready to go. So that's, I believe, everything we can say about the Oblivion Remastered, out now, cross-platform. Check it out. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I'm insanely excited to play this. I actually love this game more than Skyrim. So
nice. Hey, nothing wrong with that. There's no wrong answer. What else?
My time to shine.